Hey YouTubers, so today we're back with another Dragon Ball Super speculation theory video, or this, that, or the other. Honestly, it's kind of a pitch or whatever. Basically, a month ago, I sat down with D-Free and we recorded a video about 3 ways that they could bring Broly back or even into Dragon Ball Super, because he's not necessarily part of Dragon Ball anyway. And lo and behold, we got a awesome little video showing that they're bringing a huge homage to Broly with a girl-female Super Saiyan, our very first one we've ever seen in this upcoming tournament. So I'm thinking, look, Dragon Ball Super has already gone way out of its way to not only create an evil Goku, but bring Broly into the mix, at least an homage to Broly, and then also bring back Future Trunks. So who's next? Who's next on the wheel of what fans want? Obviously, it's Bardock. We want to see Bardock come into Dragon Ball Super one way or the other. And today we have 4, count them, 4 theories on how they could bring Broly back into Dragon Ball Super or into Dragon Ball, because we haven't necessarily seen him for a very long time. And joining me to talk about this is, once again, MJ from GeekList TV. MJ, why don't you say hello, man?
Hello.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't even know, man. You have no energy. Okay, so we're gonna just start this off. Honestly, I think I've kind of given the intro. They know what they're in for. They know what they're in for, man. So, personally, what I want to see is maybe, just maybe, and it would just be a really cool technique, considering we're going into this universe survival arc, and we're going to see all these different people fight in so many different ways. And considering the team that we have, we know that strategy is going to be at least somewhat of a interesting little thing that we haven't necessarily seen in Dragon Ball Super fights thus far, considering the fact that they have 3 humans, the androids, Piccolo, and then the 3 Saiyans. So I feel like one thing we're going to see is maybe there's someone in this tournament that has some really cool power that we've never necessarily seen in Dragon Ball before, where they can create kind of illusions or kind of shadows of people's minds, where they see people that they know or they kind of instinctively know, or one way or the other that they have to fight, because the guy's not a good fighter, but he just has these mind games. I really like that idea. So when Goku goes up there, he kind of conjures up his father, and Goku finally gets to meet Bardock, or even Bardock has to face like King Vegeta and Bardock, or Vegeta has to face King Vegeta and Bardock, and then maybe like Gohan. The list goes on, and just like the comedy that would happen with that, and also like the emotional complexities of that. Personally, I really like that idea. It would be really cool to see Goku basically go up against his father one more time in the tournament, going all the way back to the Baba tournament, where Goku had to fight the masked. Did he fight Grandpa Gohan? It's been a long time. He fought Grandpa Gohan, but not really an all-out fight. It was just kind of this is your weakness. What?
I said, yeah, he fought him.
Anyway, I think that's actually something that would be really cool to see, honestly. Like, what if there's somebody who plays off of their minds? Now, the only reason I say that, and that this probably isn't going to happen, is we're seeing that in the filler right now, where Goku and Krillin are basically up against their former rivals. So it would be weird for them to play that same technique again, or that same trope again. So anyway, MJ, what are your thoughts on that, and what is your first one?
I agree. I do like that theory really a lot, because one of the cool things about the Universe 6 arc was that some of the opponents have very cool techniques. So it would be cool to get that dynamic in again, and I really do hope because I understand people are kind of upset when Goku and Vegeta can just go SS Blue and like beat up everybody, but the point is that while it would be cool to get some strong opponents and stuff, I think it is a bit cooler that we actually open the wide range of abilities and see the different techniques that are out there, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And plus, this guy, he may not even have to use like his mind. He could just be some weak guy, like a magician, and he can throw out like some weird stuff on the floor and then like just make like a thing pop up. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly like what's going on in the filler arc, like an illusion. They could go crazy with the type of abilities that they can introduce, and I think it'll be cool. Like you mentioned, like you can have Vegeta pop up, and he sees like maybe Nappa and Bardock and King Vegeta, something like that. Or you have Goku pop up, and then they do Bardock, so you have father and son, which would be a very cool homage to Grandpa Gohan versus Goku, because Goku saw his grandpa go on was like a father figure, basically. You know what I mean? So it would be cool to get that concept brought back, and that really would be a cool way to introduce Bardock. Because think about it, you don't want to necessarily bring him in and say, "Hey, this is the father of Goku. He's in the story now." You could bring him in as sort of like a part of this guy's technique. You know what I mean? And I think that would be a cool way to do it. All right, my next one is you have him come back from the dead. Now, this is going to be a bit out of here, but obviously we know about GodTube. Obviously we know gods can access it. It would be really cool if, let's say, the pink elephant says, that guy is really strong. He was able to access God Ki, and he's a Saiyan. I want a Saiyan for my for my team. And then one of the Kaioshin goes, well, I'm looking in Universe 7's afterlife right now, and I see a Saiyan that resembles this Saiyan greatly. And then Elephant says, well, bring him here, bring him back to life, do something. I want him on my team. I want a freaking Saiyan on my team. And that would be a cool way to actually remember how I just mentioned, let's not actually bring Bardock in the story, but this would be a cool way to actually do it. They want a Saiyan, they want a guy who can get as strong as Goku was, and what better way to actually have them go through the afterlife of Universe 7 and they find a Saiyan that resembles Goku and it's Bardock, you know what I mean? So they bring him, and then whether he gets trained or not, it's not the point. The point is that he is on the team, and Goku, Vegeta, we'll see. And even Kaba, like, you have Kaba and that new female Saiyan, so it'll be like a big Saiyan party. You know what I mean? You'll have a whole bunch of Saiyans there, but you get my point. It'll be more of a thing between Goku for him to finally see his dad, and it'll actually be him, whether he was brought back from the dead or whether he still is dead and he was brought back just for one day. He's there, you know what I mean? So it'll be cool to see that concept brought in, because I think that would be pretty cool, because everyone's seen God do. I'm pretty sure all these other gods of destruction, they want to Saiyan, they can see how far they can progress. They've seen that they can access God Ki, they can transform, you know what I mean? I'm sure they would want something similar on their team, so I think it would be a plausible way to bring them in,
Yeah, also, like you said, bringing back like the whole day rule, that's something that's kind of been threaded out throughout the entire series of Dragon Ball. I mean, it's just something that's just been established, and it'd be really interesting seeing just getting like this idea that other gods are cheating, and the fact that like Universe 6 and 7 aren't fair. They have Saiyans. Like, we don't know exactly what other kind of people that other universes have. They might have really strong opponents, but I implore people to go watch that 15-second clip, because it definitely looks like Goku takes that wolf guy out pretty easily. The point is like there's going to be really strong people and there's going to be very weak people. There's going to be some of those universes you just know are going to be out. They cannot match Universe 6 and 7. It's just not going to be possible. So it would be interesting to have them situated to go, oh yeah, we're going to go, we're just going to jump over here to Universe 7 and steal someone who's dead. I mean, technically it's not cheating, because this person isn't in this universe, and we're giving him kind of the one-day pass to come to our universe and fight for us one day, just to help us fight in this tournament. And the elephant's a good idea too, because Zamasu was so enamored with how strong Goku was in terms of like mortals shouldn't be this strong. So it does raise the question about whether or not Universe 10 actually has strong fighters. So that would probably be a good candidate for it, especially since what we know about these people.
Yeah, definitely, because Gowasu definitely knows about how strong the Saiyans are, and then you introduce how everybody was so freaked out at the fact that Goku can turn into a Super Saiyan, like, people, bro, are so freaked out, and this was even played off in the Afterlife tournament. Remember back in Z, that filler arc, people are just so freaked out that Saiyans can transform, I guess because they're humanoid creatures, they don't see the ability that they can transform, and even Kaba was freaked out. So it would play the question that if they're over here watching GodTube and they're seeing all these, or they just heard about it and they hear about these Saiyans, these humanoid creatures who can transform and just get stronger and stronger, it would raise the question that maybe one of those gods of destruction wants a Saiyan on their team because of that purpose,
No, definitely. Okay, so my last one here is, and I know a lot of people say this all the time with really no indication of whether or not it even makes sense, but Timebreaker Bardock. And I know it's kind of stupid and weird, but like I will say, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, Dragon Ball Super's done really something very weird with the last arc, the whole Future Trunks arc thing. Is it started off its entire run introducing gods of destruction, introducing a much bigger world or mythology for all of Dragon Ball, going as far as to not only bring back Frieza and all this stuff, and okay, like Frieza knew about this god of destruction, but this god of destruction has a brother, and they're brothers because there's mirror universes, and there's 12 mirror universes, and there's going to be this huge omniversal tournament. Everyone gets excited for that and everything, and then they kind of drop the ball on that, and they go directly into time travel again, and something we've already seen, something they played with before, and it's just weird to me that they would do that and not explore more universes. Now, it's not that arc didn't explore other universes. Obviously, it did in a really big way to one degree or another, not as big as this upcoming arc. But personally, it doesn't have to be this arc. It can be later in the future. But we've seen the time rings. We've seen that these things have some kind of implication of what's going on and how people are doing one thing or another. And they know that there's multiple different timelines. People have been messing with time. We don't necessarily know if people going backwards in time enough is going to make it, important or interesting. Maybe that actually fucks with the timeline, breaks a timeline, and like something like the games where you have Trunks and the Supreme Kai of Time. Not that she's even in the game, but having someone like Bardock who they can easily go like, episode of Bardock is real. He went back in time, and now he's just basically a time jumper for the last several years. And maybe, like you said, maybe if gods are like, oh, Saiyans are cool, GodTube's cool, I want something like that, then it would be really kind of cool to think that maybe they, like, another god stole him. And instead of Toe and Mirror or anything like that, another god stole him, and that's like he was the guy who first time traveled and all that. There's so many things you can do with Bardock when you introduce time travel in the mix, considering that's one of the things that's basically been keeping him relevant or alive in the video games and any type of incarnation of the canon and everything like that. So it would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Even though I'm not too fond of the character Timebreaker Bardock, it would be cool to see him introduced in that light. And his name, Bardock, is so funny, a Saiyan, is so endorsed in the whole time travel thing, like you mentioned time travel, people automatically think of him and Mira and Toa, which is kind of funny to me. I would never expected that. But oh well, heroes. But
yeah, definitely.
Anyways, grand finale here. No, this isn't, I'm not saying this is the best one. This is just the last one on the list, and that is Bardock is the king of planet Sadal. Now, again, we've seen the female Super Saiyan in that 15-second trailer. Just because she resembles Broly, she's not exactly Broly, and I'm pretty sure she'll have a different name, different backstory, and everything. Now, taking that sort of concept here, we can have a king of planet Sadal resemble Bardock, and I think that would be kind of cool. The problem with it, though, bro, is like, why didn't Kaba mention that the king looked like Goku?
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, maybe Kappa just didn't think of it, because I'm not too sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a saying that most Saiyans have like similar hairstyles or something like that? Like they're not too...
I think that was from Tree of Might.
Okay. Alright, so if they take that similar concept there, because we know Super pulls from every fucking continuity, if they take that similar concept there, maybe it's just Kaba didn't think twice about it, because, hey, it's a Saiyan's hair. But at the same time, though, moving off of that, I think it would work just due to the fact that it's kind of like they're twin universes, but King Vegeta was the king on planet Vegeta, and then on planet Sadal, you have Goku be the king of that planet, and I think in the king of that Saiyan, so I think it would be kind of cool, and it would be very funny to see like Vegeta's reaction to that. Now, again, I know I'm taking sort of like a little light, it could be Bardock, it could still be Bardock, who knows, his name could be Bardock and all that, but at the same time, I feel like if he was the king, it would probably just be more of a Saiyan who resembles Bardock, and that'll be fan service to the people who want Bardock in the show, you know what I mean? It'll be like their little fan service and their little moment to get a character that resembles Bardock and Goku into the canon story, you know what I mean? But I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I really like that idea, just personally. One of the things I was saying, like you were saying, with Kaba going up there, he's like, man, I really like you, Vegeta. You remind me so much of our king. He's such an honorable, nice, kind man. I always thought it'd be really funny if, it's like a guy who looks just like Goku, and it's like a concept like it's Bardock, and that would just piss Vegeta off, because he respects Kaba, and like Kaba is basically comparing him to Goku. Oh man, you're just like Goku, and he's like, oh, this makes me so mad. But another thing I thought would be really fun there is I did a video with Geekdom. I was like, oh, who is this female Broly? Theories on that. And one of the things we came up with was, what if she's the princess? What if she's the princess and not, I'm getting a little off topic, but what if she's the princess and basically the king has been hiding her away, not because he's like, oh yeah, you're too powerful, you're a woman or something like that's terrible. But what if he's been hiding her away because, unlike Universe 7, where Super Saiyan power was something to be revered and like expected and really wanted, strived for, because the Saiyans in Universe 6 are humble, honest, good people, that they consider that level of destructive power and unwielding destructive power is unstable and something that needs to be controlled and not revered. So she was always having this like rage boost legendary Super Saiyan thing from the time she was born, and they didn't know how to handle it, so they basically hid her away. And it's why Vados basically said, oh, don't that's why Vados didn't find her, and she took Kaba instead. And Kaba comes back with Super Saiyan abilities. The king is like, oh yeah, you know what? I know what that is. Look at my daughter. She's super strong. And then they realize like, oh, this can be controlled. And like they're like Super Saiyans are kind of good things. They're not terrible, evil things. And that's why they like Kaba didn't know. But just going off that point, it would be really interesting. And another thing where what if Kaba, because we already saw him fight Vegeta in the last tournament, and Kaba is the equivalent to Vegeta for Planet Sidal. What if this Bardock King Vegeta is the equivalent of Goku, and the princess, if it's female Broly, is the equivalent to Gohan, the rage monster. So something to think about there, I think. And it would be really kind of interesting because it does flip the switch. It flips the switch on it where Kaba is the equivalent to Vegeta, who is not the royalty, probably peasant, ground force, grunt type of fighter, and Vegeta and Gohan are the royal, or Goku and Gohan's equivalents are the royalty in this situation. Just an interesting little tidbit there, little thought. So
yeah, I agree.
yeah, so guys, those are our 4. Tell us what you think in the comment section below. Tell us if you have anything better, because we were trying to think of another one. We just really couldn't. These are the only ones that really made sense to us. The ones I like the most, and I'll just tell us what you think you like the most. And I'll say the one I like the most really is I like what MJ was talking about first, where one of the other universes takes one of the dead Saiyans from Universe 7 in order to have a Saiyan fight on their team, and it just so happens to be Bardock. I think that's kind of cool. It would put a little bit more of a like, all these gods are cheating, because there's so much stakes in all this, so I like that idea.
Yeah, I like the idea too.
Oh, is that your favorite? Which one's your favorite?
My favorite is probably that one and yours, the first one, the technique one, because I'm not sure if you know this. I think you know, but maybe your subs or our subs don't know, but I'm a real huge fan of Hunter x Hunter. And Hunter x Hunter was always kind of like a mind slash chess game, you know what I mean? So it would be cool to kind of get that concept back where you have this guy who's really, really, really weak, and then he uses like his abilities and his techniques, and one of his techniques happens to be that he can create maybe like these illusions, or he can create something out of, you know what I mean? Like maybe like Boo, you know how Boo can like create like beans out of goo, like we've seen that before. Maybe he does something similar to that, you know? So it would be kind of cool to see that come up, and it would be a real cool way to see kind of like Goku and them have to fight the abilities and not so much as fight the person, you know? So.
No, I completely agree. I would really like to see that too. And plus, it would be a really cool way for them to introduce it without having to actually focus on it a whole lot, and for us to be mad or happy or overly excited about it, because it's just something that's going to come and go, and it's just basically for the fans in general. So
yeah, it's a quick fan service moment.
Yeah, it's not something for them to focus on. But anyway, guys, tell us what y'all think about our theories in the comment section below. Tell us your best theory, and like Geekdom did on the video I did with him, I will see the best one I'll pin up there, and as a reward, just because like anything else that's better than this is probably, I can't think of anything better, guys. But anyway, please make sure to go check out MJ. He makes some awesome Dragon Ball content, daily content for everyone who's interested. And we're going to catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.